All right, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Keith Engle here from Tuesday Sports on Sunday. Stream of consciousness. Great to have you with us today. I'm trying to make sure our Facebook feed is coming through, and it is. I think I was late, and it's a good thing that everybody's seeing us where they should. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. More news to come, by the way, on National Streaming Sports and how it will go on. Mike Tipton, if you watch the National Streaming Sports Professional Sports Show on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m., you see Tip on the show, and he also does a great show on, we got some bad juju going on here. Tip has got some connections. We may be affiliating with a different network and still try to keep National Streaming Sports Show name going. And we'll keep that alive. My shows will continue no matter what happens. They will continue to broadcast on my affiliates, and we may go back with. And again, if that happens, there could be some more. It could be more structured, by the way. And we may have to make sure we end on time, start on time. There'll be a quick commercial break, or maybe a read of because there's money to be made here, and we may. I'm not doing this for money, just to be clear. But I love the guys that I work with on the National Streaming Sports Network. And if they are looking to get involved in that, then I will probably go their way. It won't be anything that's obtrusive. I promise you I won't let that happen. But well, welcome, everybody. Thanks to the groups that allow me to share. You'll see them ticking across, a few of them, a few of my favorites at the bottom of the screen. But you're all my favorites because you allow me to share my content. And it helps us get a lot of views every week. By the way, my shows, just to give you an idea, 34,000 views last month, last 28 days, I should say. Great job. You guys, I owe it all to you guys and owe it to the groups. John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings at America's Pastime, The Love of Baseball, Flo and the Gang at Bottom Line Sports. Check out their podcast. Great stuff. We got great content on National Streaming Sports. Watch them all. Watch Jack and the Glove Fist. Watch, Sonia's shows. Watch James and Jack on the debate show. But Bottom Line Sports, another great podcast. Flo's right now deployed in Europe. He posted a picture from, I think, Krakow. I'm not sure. I can't remember now. The other day, great picture. Check it out. We appreciate his service. But they do their podcasting on Let's Talk Sports. They're still a good friend of ours. DDH, thumbs up. Who else? Ken Krause at Sports of All Sorts, Golf Bud, Sports of All Sorts. So lots of great content out there. Check out our show from Friday if you want to hear a lot about Hulk Hogan and then some baseball. Me and Jack on the Jack and Keith Weekend Playbook. We do it Fridays at 8 a.m., Mondays at 8 a.m. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about all the weekend action, some boxing. We're going to get into some stuff today. Baseball, we got a record set. First time in 150 years somebody did what Nick Kurtz did for the A's on Friday night, I believe it was. Maybe it was Thursday. The trade markets are wide open. Judge is hurt. Doesn't appear to be the worst, but the Yankees aren't always forthcoming about these things. And even if he is back in 10 days off the DL, yes, sorry, I said DL, it will impact his team if he can't play the outfield, which he will not be playing when he comes back, I guarantee you. We'll talk about that. Stanton can't play the outfield. Blue Jays are so hot, sweeping the Tigers this weekend so far. They've got the best record in baseball suddenly. Will they continue this? Will they make it happen in the playoffs where they have not before? Bench is clear in the Padres Cardinals game, or just standing around shoving. Watch Machado. Do you think he's really trying to get to somebody as the umpire's holding him back? Mets are hot. Red Sox, yeah. Still talking about trading Duran. The NFL camps are open. Fields is hurt. Probably not the worst. Metelios, I think is his name, 36-year, 3-year extension with the Vikings. Roger Metcalf having trouble getting some chemistry in camp. Baker Mayfield's extension, does he deserve it? Belichick and Kraft still bitching back and forth. It's a little bit old, but we hadn't had a chance to talk about it. Bill Self in college undergoes a heart procedure. Had one a couple of years ago. Been a lot of talk about him stepping down in Kansas. We'll see what happens there. The president does issue a executive order telling the NCAA to get their house in order and quantify how these players are going to get paid. Just because pay for play is here and NIL is supposed to be marginalized, it is not, and is not going to be. And you're going to see lawsuits about this pay for play right and left, guaranteed. And we'll talk more about that. The college football huddle will return on the 6th of August, I believe. Yes, the 6th of August. A slight possibility I go live this week. We'll see. And Messi banned or suspended, I should say. I'm not sure for how long. Let's take a look by the MLS. Major League Soccer, MLS, for not attending the All-Star game. Maybe every league should start banning players for not attending All-Star games. Especially one that's trying to, increase their exposure. Anyway, it's your show, guys. This is your show. Please bring the topics. Let's have a great 2 hours and have some fun this morning. So bring it. JB, how are you? The Orioles have started to unload players. Soto going to the Mets. Capable pitcher. Where is Charlie Martin going to end up? I would love to see him trade him to the Yankees. Listen, as the Yankees, by the way, make some trades. They get the Rosario and McMahon. I think 2 good trades that don't cost prospects. I talked about it in the MLB update. I talked about it with Jack. This team's not good enough to go all in. You don't just say, I'm done. I'm throwing all the chips at the table. I'm going after Rosario. I'll give up prospects. Don't do it. Team's not good enough. Now, with Judge hurt, they're compromised even more. If we have any tennis fans out there, we do talk some tennis time to time. We get to it in the Jack and Keith's weekend update. We don't talk a lot of tennis here, but tonight's the premiere of my discussion with 17-time Grand Slams double champion and tennis Hall of Famer Gigi Fernandez. I remember Gigi Fernandez. Good player. Good get. Good job, JB. You're making me want to get back. We probably will. We'll probably get back to, we're going to continue to do the Jack and Mac show, or Jack and Keith show, weekend playbook on Fridays and Mondays. This show will always continue, and I promise you it'll be this time slot. We're talking about moving the MLB update, the time, but we're going to do the show. College football huddle will stay. Probably Wednesday nights. Might try to move it to the afternoon, but I want to make sure we have an audience. And we could go back to the interview shows as well. And I might try to just temper it. Instead of putting pressure on myself, I try to get one a month and I'll be done. Too hard to do weekly. And we might have some news, as I said, about the Northeast Streaming Sports. Good morning, Paul. Good to have you with us. How many times you signed in here? You open up different browsers so you can come in as comment as different people? Good to have you guys with us. Where do we start? Yankees. Judge. I'm going to start. Well, let me start with Nick Kurtz. Jack, I don't know. And I guess he was being facetious, but he didn't think it was a big deal what Nick Kurtz did the other day. Nobody in the history of baseball, that's 150 some years, has had gone 6 for 6, 4 home runs, 6 runs, and 8 RBIs. He's only the 20th player with 4 home runs in a game, and he's the first rookie to do it. This is a tremendous. I don't care. They were playing on the road too. They weren't playing in that Sacramento bandbox they play in. So this is a legitimate record. He's been playing some good baseball. He's fallen off my radar. He's playing some good baseball. So kudos to him. We can talk about that. We haven't seen Michael yet, but Michael is. I know Michael was able to get on the shows Friday through Facebook. At least my personal page. I don't know about TGI Sports Talk. Judge goes down with a flexor issue. They check, no torn tendon, UCL, whatever group of letters that is in your elbow. Not sure how he hurt it. He had trouble throwing to the infield Friday night. Throwing balls back in from right field. He is on the DL for 10 days. I hope he can come back in 10 days and DH. Regardless, it's going to hurt the Yankees because I guarantee you they will be careful with him. Him not playing defense hurts this team, makes them weaker. This is a team that can't afford more places of weakness. Now, because Dominguez isn't a great outfielder, you got Grisham, who's a bit overrated as an outfielder. I like Bellinger a lot. He can play all three spots. And I think now they got to go get an outfielder. I believe Rosario, who they picked up. Let me check this out. I wanted to check this out anyway. He can play some outfield. I think he played some outfield in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. No, I'm wrong. He did not. Yeah, he did. He played 6 games out there. 18 games. He played a little outfield. You could see him in the outfield. You could see him as a platoon to McMahon at third base. But the Yankees are weaker. They talked to Stanton about playing the outfield. Giancarlo Stanton today, I don't care if he was a decent outfielder, 5 years ago, as Jack mentioned today. He's not today. And he'll get hurt. This is bad news for the Yankees, and I guarantee they'll be looking for an outfielder this next 6 days until the trade deadline. No, not 5 days until the trade deadline at 6:00 on Thursday. Good morning to Rick Sherlock. Mohawks won the Eastern Division and begin the playoffs Wednesday. Already? Where's the summer gone? If there's a summer that's got to go fast, this is a good one. Because I don't know if I showed the clock at all last week, but 31 days. Only about 20 working days, quite frankly. I've got some couple of PTO days in August. I might take a couple more. But we're winding down. We're excited. Congratulations to the Mohawks. Dominant, by the way. Dominant program in that, what do we call it? Perfect Game League, I think, Rick. Good morning, Dave Guyette, up in Amsterdam, New York. Good to have you with us. Not a ton to talk about today, guys, so I need your help. Bring those comments. There's got to be stuff you're in. By the way, NFL camps are wide open. We can talk about anything in the NFL, anything in MLB. We can talk about, we'll talk about that. We can talk about Messi getting a ban for not showing up to the All-Star game. Maybe every league should start doing this. But we're starting to have, I don't know, what that Fields injury. By the way, toes are a funny thing in sports. They cause a lot of problems. I believe he didn't break his toe. He sprained his toe. They were worried he broke it. I like Fields. I think this Jet team is going to be very interesting this year. I know Danny Fuller will probably laugh at me for that. I think my team's improved, but good morning, Chris F. Grave. What's the Omar Vizquel scandal? I don't even know what it is. Detective Chris doesn't believe a word about the Omar Vizquel scandal. If he had those demons, he kept them as tight as his whole career. His allegations were absolutely reckless behavior, and that's where it ends. Don't meet for Detective Chris. I'm having some trouble with the syntax here. I got to find out now what the Omar Vizquel scandal is, because it is not mainstream news, that's for sure. Let's find out what's going on with Omar. Oh, how the hell do you spell his name? Well, I spelled both his names wrong. Google's smart, but it's not that smart. Omar Vizquel, news, nothing. Hold on. Let me try this again. Damn. There we go. We'll check him out. I'm going to check him here. I'm not getting any news. Maybe if I spell his name right, I'll get some news, right? Scintillating TV. All right, what's the news on him? I'm not seeing anything. You got to help me out here, Chris. You're going to have to tell me what the scandal is. Since lawsuit. Here we go. I got to go back. By the way, the first article I can find on this, Chris, is in 2023. Sits along to talk for 2 hours, asking a company to listen closely to what he says. Turned upside down in 2021 when he was sued by a former bat boy who has autism for sexual harassment. I never heard this story. It must have been buried. A civil lawsuit accused Viscal of sexually aggressive behavior. I don't know what to believe here. This is the first time I ever heard this. The source is not one. It's USA Today. This is an interesting story. Has it popped to the surface again, Chris? Because I don't know this story. First time hearing it. I'll look more into it for sure. And by the way, once you make these types of allegations, you have to be damn sure if you're going to accuse people of things like I'm reading here very quickly, you better be accurate. Because where do people go to get their reputation back after this happens? Where? You don't is the answer. And I'm not really sure that I don't know. We'll check it out. Chris, thanks for bringing it up, and we'll check it out. Rosario and McMahon getting it done. Yes, on the cheap. Yeah, these are two good moves for the Yankees. Rosario and McMahon can platoon at third base. Both decent defensive players. Rosario's having a decent year with the Nationals. Has had a couple of decent years. First with the Mets, then with Cleveland, and later on with the Nationals and probably some others. Where else has he played? McMahon has never gotten it done, never became the player that the Rockies and, frankly, myself thought he'd be in Colorado. Rosario also played with the Dodgers. I think that was a trade deadline trade, too, when he went to the Dodgers. But the Yankees, again, I'll say this again, and anybody can disagree with me. The Yankees are not good enough to go all in here and go after Suarez, to go after whomever. McMahon and Rosario, while not exciting names, are capable players. McMahon never, look, he's going to hit about 220. If he hits 230, you've done pretty well. Change of scenery could do wonders for this guy. People tell me how great he hit in Colorado and how bad he hit on the road. That can change once you move, the whole change of scenery. You're used to not playing in that ballpark. I know this. He's going to give him a little pop. He's got 16 home runs. If he hits 10 home runs the rest of the year, hits 230, and plays a competent third base, well, then I've gotten my money's worth, and I got more than I would have got a Peraza or, Vivio, whatever the frick his name is. That's the name of one of my TVs. But, you got to go in the cheap. You got to find and look for bargains that can give you some help. And I think that's what the Yankees have done here so far. They still need a pitcher. I'd love to see them go after Seth Lugo, but I think he'll be too expensive. I'm hoping maybe a guy like Zach Gallen, who has not had a good year. I get it. In a walk year, it's a rental. If I don't have to give up a major prospect, I go bring Zach Gallen in here and throw him at the back of that rotation. I need help in the bullpen. Yankees are playing atrocious, by the way. 20-24 in the last 44 games. That's a huge sample size. Will Warren pitched good enough to win on Friday night, and the bullpen imploded. Sheetler, again, I don't know how to say his name yet. I will. He's pitched well. Rondon is Rondon. He's going to give you stinkers every, fourth time out. For them to be without their ace and their second best pitcher in my mind, and Clark Schmidt, is going to be very difficult for this team to say, I'm all in. Doesn't mean they won't make the playoffs. But, guys, they're a game and a half from falling out of the last wild card spot. They've lost Judge for at least 10 days. Don't be shocked if it's longer. Don't go all in. Make a couple of because bring in, as I said, you brought in these two guys. Maybe bring in another pitcher. Maybe bring in another guy for the bullpen and play it out. See what Judge's health is. Play it out. Maybe you make the playoffs and you get on a run. But don't mortgage the future for this year. They're not good enough. That's simple. Mets might be in the same position. They're rumored to get Suarez because Vientos has been horrendous at third base. But do you mortgage the future? Is this team ready? There's very few teams. If I'm the Tigers, I'm going all in. If I'm the Cubs, I'm going all in. I see Allen here. If I'm the Texas Rangers, I'm not going all in. Look back at those. Look back in the playoff conversation. 10 wins in the last 12 games. You think this team is really, and again, your team has in a couple times been a little bit foolish with some of their transactions. Great move with the Yankees, by the way, which we talked about. You got a pretty good return for Gallo. If only one of those guys worked out, you got more than we got. I don't think the Rangers are all that. I don't think it's a team that should be going all in. Some teams should be thinking about going all in. Yes, the Rangers are playing great. But I will point out, Alan, as I said Friday, Rangers have been prone to this year, right? They've had 10, 12, 15 game streaks where they look great. They look like the champions from a couple years ago. Then they go and lose, 8 out of 10. Great teams don't have those streaks. I keep telling Danny, or not Danny, I see Danny's name, sorry. Or do I see Danny's name? Oh, yeah, Rick put up Danny's name. Did Danny comment and I didn't say good morning? No, okay. Great teams don't have these streaks where you lose 6 in a row. 8 out of 10, 1-9. That's why I wonder if the Tigers have a couple of really good pitchers in Skubal and Mize. Flaherty's, was a great playoff pitcher last year, but never been a fan. Maybe Carpenter getting back will help them. They got a good manager, and I think this is a good team. But they've gotten a lot of Javi Baez and a lot of Gleyber Torres, and I'm not sure that will continue as we play out this last third of the season. So, yes, Texas is back in the race. Congratulations. Now the key is to stay there, Alan, because they have not been terribly good at that so far this year. Where do they stand right now? And the Astros aren't playing well. So they're 8-2 in their last 10, won 5 in a row. They moved to win 5 games of first place at 55-50. I think their high water mark of the year, pretty close, if I'm not wrong, Alan. And they are now a half game out of the wild card. Again, the Yankees are only a game and a half from being out of the wild card race. Rick is with Danny. I don't believe Glenn is an upgrade from solid. The talent is overall mediocre. I'm not sure I agree with that. The talent is there. There's a lot of talent there. I think Justin Fields is going to be very good there if he's handled the right way. You've got, I think, one of the best wide receivers potentially in football in Wilson. You've got Hall in the backfield, been injury prone. That defense, I'm telling you again, that defense is playoff ready. This team is better than you think. I don't know about Glenn being an upgrade over Salah. Nobody knows about assistants and how they'll coach. But you can't tell me Salah was good. Salah was good with the defense. Well, then he should have been the defensive coordinator, not the head coach. So, again, I don't know. I think the Jets will be okay. I think the East is going to be really, really good. the Bills will be good. The Patriots are going to be much improved. Doesn't mean they'll win 9 or 10 games. I have predicted it. I will be predicting that they'll win 9 games. We'll see how training camp goes and how they protect the quarterback, which in minicamp it did not go well. The Dolphins are the Dolphins, and they'll find a way to be, 9-8, 10-7, and lose the first round of playoffs. And I think the Jets are the wild card here. Jets and Patriots both are wild cards here. I think the Patriots are better because of the head coach, and we'll find out about the quarterback pretty quick. But listen, I'm not a Jet fan. I got no reason to stick up for the Jets. But I'm willing to take a fly. I'm not saying they'll make the playoffs either. I think the Jets will be better, which isn't a high bar, by the way, because they've been atrocious for the last 3 years. Oh, more than that. They are trying. Too many freaking problems on his team, though. Aaron Boone being the main one, and Cashman. We continue to put together flawed teams that can't run the bases, teams that throw to the wrong base, teams that are not baseball smart. Fundamentally, they're awful, not as a whole. There are individuals who are very, very savvy, baseball savvy. Aaron Judge. And you got guys who just freaking, spaz out. Jazz, Volpe, Dominguez, this what's his name? Viva, love Yankees, whatever the frick his name is. He's this year's Gleyber Torres. He's just run to get tagged. So they're trying, yeah, and I hope they make the playoffs. I'm just saying, do not go all in. They've made little tweaks that have really given them a boost. Losing Aaron Judge hurts them so badly. I can't even tell you. I don't care if he comes back. If he DHs the rest of the year, this team is still majorly compromised by this Judge injury. Because it's going to affect him at the plate, and he's not going to be able to play the field, and they're going to be that much weaker on defense. Aaron Judge is a top-notch right fielder. The only guy I can say is a really good outfielder on the Yankees outside of Judge is Bellinger, and he can play all 3 positions, but he can't play them at once. Dominguez is still a work in progress in left field. Grisham is way overrated in center field. He's probably better in left field. Yeah, and you're going to put Stanton out there? Really? Let me know how the pitchers feel about Giancarlo Stanton playing the field. Andy Bennett's kept poor teams in baseball. I like Andy Bennett. I've tried to get Andy Bennett on for an interview and haven't been able to do it. But he was a good starting pitcher over his career. Padres and the Mariners, Andy Bennett. I want to say that's right. Let's check the baseball reference. See how close I am. Still on Andy Bennett. And he had a brother that played as well. What was his name? I spelled his name wrong. The problem is baseball reference isn't as smart as. Wow, he also played with St. Louis and Arizona. Excuse me. I had a feeling about it, St. Louis, but I did not know he was in Arizona. What did he do for his career? I don't think he had a bad career. How many games? He won 155 games in the major leagues. That's not bad. I don't think he lived up to the hype of what he was, but, he finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year voting, 6th in the Cy Young voting 1 year, 3rd another year. Finished in the top 22 in the MVP voting 1 year. Not a bad player. Alan says it probably won't. I think you're talking about go all in. If the hitting stays consistent, then they can stay with it. Helps also that the Astros and Mariners are struggling a bit too. Well, the Mariners are playing a little better baseball. At least we're going into the weekend. Where are they today? The Mariners still hold the second spot. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They have been terrible. By the way, the Mariners are probably going to, and a nice trade for Josh Naylor, by the way, by the Mariners, and they're going to get a boost here in the second half. Hopefully, I mean, they could get what could be a huge boost when some of their injured pitchers head back to the lineup. This won't tell me who I'm looking for, and I don't think the depth chart will. So, well, Gilbert and Kirby are back. So maybe, and Bryce Miller may be back. So that would help them. Wu is the best fifth starter in baseball. This is the best pitching staff, and their bats have been much better this year. J-Rod has regressed, but Naylor helps this lineup, which is already better than it was before. The pitching has hurt them. I think the slumps that they've had. I think that AL West race will be very interesting, but the Astros, to me, will always have the upper hand on these two teams. Royals are pushing for a playoff spot, but they're also talking about trading Lugo. So the Royals could be, like the Rays, where you're adding and subtracting at the same time. Diamondbacks may do the same thing, although they're much further out of competition than the Diamondbacks. Hang on a second. Let me take a quick look at the Royals. They're hanging tough. There are 8 teams. 8. Am I right? Let's get back to the standings real quick. In the American League, and again, by the way, the National League is much deeper in good teams in the American League. Good teams in the American League, the Tigers were, the Astros were. I mean, but you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 teams within 5.5 games of being in the playoffs. But, by the way, 3 of those teams are 500 or worse, including the Royals, who are 3 games under 500. I predict the Royals will be sellers here this week. You'll see Seth Lugo somewhere else. I would like to see Seth Lugo in pinstripes. I'm not overpaying. And the National League's close as well, by the way. But they got better. The Brewers are capable of winning the National League. The Phillies are capable. The Padres are capable. The Reds are capable. Maybe not the Reds. The Mets, the Dodgers, the Cubs. There's a lot of teams. I see like 2 teams in the American League right this minute. Good morning, Michael. Good to have you with us today over in the UK. I hope you're having a good day. It's a midday over there for you. If my math is right, it's 2 o'clock, 2:06. Shooter Sanders is not taking first-team snaps with the Browns, only second and third-team snaps. I'm not surprised. I do think that Shooter Sanders will emerge as the starting quarterback on his team sometime during this season. And if not, he will be the starter here eventually. You've got so many quarterbacks in camp. Joe Flacco is probably going to get the majority of the snaps with the first team. I'm guessing that's what's happening. I haven't looked deeply at that situation just yet, Michael. Just a few days into camp. But I would be shocked if you see, but you're going to see Shedeur play in exhibition games. The good thing about being down in the depth chart, if you're Shedeur Sanders, is you're going to get a chance to go out there and show your stuff against second and third string players, but which could fool the Browns and think he's better. But I'm not shocked he's not taking first team snaps. Good to have you with us, Michael. By the way, we did remove one of your football teams. You in the football league, just so you know, you had put 2 teams in. So Michael Pancake. So you want to make sure when you get in there, you're looking for the right team. There it is, right there. So I think it's Michael Pancakes. Let me take a look just so I can give you the right information. Yeah, Michael's Pancakes. You had another team in there. I don't remember the name, but I had CA remove it because we can't have multiple teams, and I don't even know if you knew you did it. So, and I don't think you've been on the show since I noticed it here 10 days or so ago. So there's one spot left, guys. We got 15 teams, and I think we got 15 guys that are going to be very active. And I don't want to get somebody in there who will not be active. So I don't want to just throw this out to the general public. I'd like somebody who comes on the show and we can hold accountable. The only guy I can think of in this group, Alan's in. Dave Guyette, you're certainly welcome to join. Chris, JB, if you're still with me, JB might be gone already though. So anyway, we'll have that draft coming up, I think, on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, of August. Again, thank you very much. Somehow, the Hall of Fame ceremony today. Thank you, Michael. One of my favorite weekends of the year. I will tape this and watch it later. Suzuki, Sabathia, and Wagner all set for Hall of Fame induction, along with Dave Parker. Sadly, Dave Parker will not be able to... and Dick Allen. Who else is going in here today? Is there another old timer, or is it just Parker? Is there somebody else? MLB Hall of Fame inductions 2025. Oop. I think there's another. Maybe Dick Allen went in last year. Oh, Dick Allen. Yeah, Dick Allen this year, too. So unfortunately, Dick Allen and Parker are going to be posthumously honored. Parker's son, I read an article about yesterday, is delivering the exact speech that his father longed to give. I'm okay with all of these people, by the way. I fought Billy Wagner for a long time, but I've kind of come around on Billy Wagner. This will be interesting. I plan on being there next year, I think. We're going to make a plan to go up for the ceremonies. I don't know. We'll see. But this is a good class and always interesting. And I will tell you this. One thing about the Mariners, we talked about the Mariners playing well. Mariners have not won a playoff series since Ichiro was a rookie. Not as rookie in Japan, but a rookie here. That's a long freaking time ago. Bill O'Neill, good morning down in sunny Florida. My sister-in-law is up from Florida. They live just outside of Orlando. Well, a little ways out of Orlando. I guess they're closer to Tampa than Orlando. Her daughter and her wife are in Orlando. That's why I kind of say they're close to Orlando, but I think they're closer to Tampa. She flies out of Tampa and not Florida. She'll be heading back this morning. They've all gone out for breakfast this morning. Well, yours truly is here babbling on about nothing with you guys. So shows you where my allegiances are. But I spent like 11 hours with the family yesterday. We had a sprinkle for my soon-to-be second granddaughter at the Maxwell's backyard. It was hot. I drank a lot of beer, stayed in the sun too long. It was a long day. I had to help them set up a little bit in the morning. My wife and I went over early, and my sister-in-law. And they didn't have anything ready, of course. So so I was there from like, I don't know, 11:30 in the morning until about 9:30 at night. And that's just too long a day for this old guy. But 31 days. Anyway, good morning, Bill. Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well. You seem to be living your best life, so good to see you, and I'm glad you popped in. You're up here. I didn't know you snowbirded. I noticed 4 months you're here for you, so you're smart enough to spend the majority of your time in Florida and not have to pay New York tax. We have the smartest followers on this show, I can tell you right now. Where are you up here, Bill? I don't even know. You've been retired. You've been retired a few years too, I believe. So, Yankees carry the philosophy: mash your way to the championship. You change the culture. You pull 180. and go the way the Twins, Rays, Guardians, which is maximum analytics. Screw that. I don't want maximum analytics. That's Yankees use maximum analytics now. They teach their kids launch angles and exit velocity. That's part of what they train people on in the lower minor leagues. Stop with the analytics. Here's what you do. Hold on. I don't have a ball with me. I got a ball, but I have to knock my screen down. Here's the bat. Here's the ball. Put bat on ball. You know why the Yankees can't beat the Blue Jays? Because the Blue Jays don't strike out 12 and 14 times a game. They strike out 6 times a game, 5 times a game. Those 6, 7, 8 extra outs mean everything. They put pressure on defenses all game long. Yankees don't do that as a rule. This is why they're not winning. The Cubs do the same thing. Yankees win when they hit home runs. To your point about mashing your way to a championship. Stop with the but I cannot endorse. By the way, none of these teams are winning championships that I can remember. The Twins, the Rays, the Guardians. Rays went to 1 World Series. Guardians went to 1 World Series. I'm sorry, the team formerly known as the Indians. No, maximum analytics. I hope I don't change the culture. Yes. Change the culture to baseball fundamentals. Throw to the right base. Hit the cutoff man. Run the bases like you've got some kind of clue and you're not just running until you get tagged. Show some base and teach. By the way, you can't. It isn't like you're born with baseball instincts and acumen. It can be taught. We don't need to teach launch angles and some of the other nonsensical analytics we teach in the frickin' minor leagues. It's just, I get riled up for 45 minutes today. Staying caught up on the comments pretty good too. Michael says, thank you for removing the extra team. Apologies for the mistake. No worries. I didn't realize what I did. Need to read into the league rules and understand the draft more. It is it's not complicated, really. I mean, you can look at what, defensive players get stats for. The place where we kind of differ is, we draft individual defensive players and not teams. That's the big difference. So you're in, and we got one more spot, guys, as I said. Bill O'Neill, Chris, Drew's not here. Drew's not going to join, I don't think, because of the individual players. That's life. Joe, and I don't think Drew will be with us this morning. So, Bill's, I thought you retired a while ago. And North Greenbush. So I think I was living in East Greenbush. We just moved to Half Moon 2 years ago. We bought a new townhome here. Planning for the future, which unfortunately won't be Florida. We may do not like you're doing, where you get to pay your taxes in Florida, not New York. We might go for a couple of months a year, but with the grandkids here, my wife just won't do it. I probably wouldn't either. We're in East Greenbush and we moved up here. I think I saw you, Bill, and I didn't say hi or anything. It was like you won't remember. Because I don't think we spoke. It was on a Christmas Eve mass. My wife attended the same church apparently you do. I don't remember the name now, but I saw you there for Christmas Eve mass, probably back in 2016 or something, 17. Just got back from the Blue Jays game, a Guardians game, and a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well, you've been busy, my friend. Busy. I just got some tickets for, haven't been down to the stadium this year. We're going down for the Blue Jays and Yankees on September 6th, I believe. I just got the tickets last night, and that'll be probably my only trip down this year. So you're on the, I got one of the women that works for me, or at least does for the next 31 days, is her and her husband are on the same track. They've got everything but the West Coast team, so they might have around the same number probably you do, I would say. Which ones are you lacking? I'm curious, Bill. Pretty cool. I don't know if I got enough life left in me. Or I can talk my wife, actually, who's not a huge baseball fan. She'll go with me to the Yankees a couple times a year, but if I put the ball game on, she kind of goes and reads, which is why I watch it on my iPad most of the time. But I don't think I got enough lifespan left in me to hit all 20, because I've only been, places I've been to a decent amount. Yankee Stadium. So you're counting the current stadiums, I guess, or stadiums that are gone. I'm curious, Bill. So Yankee Stadium, Shea Stadium, MetLife, not MetLife, Citi Field, the Rogers Center, Camden Yards, and I think that's it. Oh, Cleveland. Been to Cleveland Stadium as well. So I got a long ways to go, man. I don't know if I got enough bandwidth to do it. Kevin Biggio, second season, he's shoved into a Swiss Army knife. No consistency. Has you living with one foot in the door and the other out. I believe he was mishandled. I thought Biggio and Bichette were both going to be stars. Biggio, where is Biggio? He's in Los Angeles, isn't he? If I'm not wrong. Chris, well, let me put him in here. Here I can put in Biggio, at least get the right guy. Or can I? Kevin. I got the wrong one. Jesus Christ. Where are you, Kevin? I think he's still in L.A. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. He's been all over the place. He's with Kansas City now. Not doing hell. Hitting 174. Never really got it going with the Blue Jays. I thought he'd be a future star, right? Hit 234 his rookie year. Did have 16 homers and 438 at bats, but it was all downhill from there. And it's possible he was mismanaged. I don't disagree. Bichette starting to get, I think, some of his mojo back, but guys, let me down here. I'm usually like 20 minutes behind on comments today. It's a quiet show. We're missing some people. Not as much going on as you would think be going on, I guess. Well, maybe Hall of Fame inductions. Let's talk a little about that. I mean, there's been, and I think Suzuki is a no-brainer. I think Sabathia is a no-brainer. I guess I've come around to the fact that Wagner's a no-brainer. Had that argument with Drew for a lot of times. But I know there's a lot of chatter about Parker and Dick Allen, and to me, they both belong in the Hall of Fame. Both of them. I know people like to compare numbers, and baseball's a game of numbers. But both of these guys were dominant players for certain parts of their careers. And that's what matters. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not saying this is right. And maybe I'm not saying this is why they should be in there. But if Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame, I mean, I can come up with a list of 40 guys that belong in the Hall of Fame. Well, maybe 20. I could come up with a lot. Again, this is my argument about Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly was arguably the best player in baseball for 5 or 6 years. In the conversation, if not the best player. Yet, we barely got a sniff. Bernie Williams. I saw a comparison of Bernie Williams and Kirby Puckett's numbers last night. Bernie outshines him or matches him everywhere. Everywhere. Bernie Williams didn't get many votes for the Hall of Fame. So does Kirby Puckett not belong, or does somebody else belong? Ah, you're including some of the old parks. All right. So I've been in, I was in Jerry Park, Olympic Stadium. I was in the old. Oh, so you're counting all those. I can count another one because I got old Yankee Stadium. So I guess I'm up to 10. Shea and City Field. I think I counted both of them already, didn't I? I see. So yeah, so you still got a ways to go. You kind of, well, you're not quite. You're still better off than I am. I'm trying to think if there's one ballpark gone that I did go to. Oh, Fenway. I didn't count Fenway. I've been to Fenway a bunch of times. So I guess I'm probably 10 behind you, I guess. That's still a lot. I don't think I got the bandwidth, Bill, to make it to all of them. Hector Zapata shared a great video of Manny Ramirez in a home run derby last night. Love to have Hector on the show. I don't know, Hector. You tell Hector to reach out to me. Send him an invite. Is he on Facebook? Send him an invite to TGI Sports Talk, just like we got Michael involved last week. And Michael was heavily involved in the MLB update on Friday. We were happy to have him there. Michael's in the group chat now. Again, I tell you guys every week, anybody who wants to join the group chat, just send me a message on my private Facebook page. I'm sending it to TGI Sports Talk because all I get is people trying to scam me out of money over there. Everybody wants to optimize my podcast reach, which I do too, and I'm going to work hard on YouTube when I get retired because I haven't been able to maximize the reach there. Facebook, I think we've done a pretty good job. We're chasing 3,000 followers. We get, like I said, we had 36,000 views to our shows in the last 28 days. I'm happy with that. I don't think CNN gets that. I know MSNBC doesn't. But by the way, Manny belongs in the Hall of Fame. Manny Ramirez belongs in the Hall of Fame. Sorry. So did all the steroid guys. Guys, you don't know who did them and who didn't. Can't have a Hall of Fame without Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. Pete Rose. Did you go to the game at the Field of Dreams, Bill? Or did you just visit the stadium that if you build it, they will come? It's in my top, we've had this discussion before about top baseball movies. Field of Dreams goes up and down my list, but it's still number one. Every once in a while it falls to number two, and I'll watch a movie and I go, I like that better. But Field of Dreams is just a perfect movie. Perfect. So I'm curious whether you went out to the Field of Dreams game or you just stopped to see the ballpark. And what's the deal with that? Because we're going to travel across the country by train, and that's one of the places I want to get to. I don't know if I can get there close to it by train. I hope I can. And don't ask me when. I don't know when. I hope I live to see it. But one of my goals is to travel from New York to California by train. Hopefully it goes nearby where I can take a couple of day trips. And then we're going to go up the Pacific Coast to Washington, which is going to be exciting for me. Rick says, hopefully the weather holds up in Cooperstown. It is a miserable day here. It's been that way pretty much for 6 weeks? Rain. I'm not even sure we've broken our record of rain every weekend. Some rain every weekend since Thanksgiving. I'm not quite sure we've broken that. I feel like we did. Or as you said, hot. Bill probably is. My sister-in-law is like, it went down to 65 the other night, and she said she hadn't seen 65 in a while. Where are you in Florida, Bill? And Rick says he burned when Mario went in. That's the other thing. When they do the induction, you're out in an open field, and it's just, if it's hot, you're screwed. And I'm not sure what the weather is in Cooperstown, but it's supposed to rain pretty much all day here in Half Moon. So the best was, I already did that one. Just a visit. No, so nobody came out of the cornfield. You didn't like disappear when you stepped on the diamond like Burt Lancaster. I did see this. I talked about this at the top of the show, Michael. This is a big story because there's been talk about Bill Self and his health for a number of years now out in Kansas. And there's been a couple of times where it looked like he might step down, and he may be getting close to doing that. He had what they called a serious surgery and having 2 stents put in. Well, it doesn't seem serious today, by the way. And anytime, and I think some of you can speak to this, anytime you have a stent, anytime you have anything to do with your heart, it's serious, guys. 2 days, and it's funny how you're out 2 days after having, I'm surprised he stayed here 2 days. Insurance companies want you out in the afternoon. My wife had her gallbladder taken out, and, they're trying to get her out of there at 10 o'clock in the morning. But we wish Bill Self good health and a quick recovery. Sorry, I froze there like Mitch McConnell for a second. By the way, they're trying to really like pin one of these comatose moments on one of my favorite guys in the Senate, John Kennedy. He had a moment the other day where his headset went nuts, and he just stopped talking until they fixed it. And they said he was, having one of those Mitch McConnell moments. But no, John Kennedy, this guy, I love the way he can just pick people apart with a smile on his face. So anyway, yes, good news for Bill Self. We hope he is recovering well and coaches many more years. He's a really good basketball coach. People in Kansas, they expect to win the national championship every year. Not realistic. And he's talked about getting back to some basics, that their portal approaches have not been good the last several years, and they've been relying on other people's scouting reports, and they're going to get back to a little bit of their own thing. Michael says it's his ambition to someday come over to the States and visit Cooperstown and Canton Hall of Fame. That you have to go to Cooperstown if you're a baseball fan. And I have yet, quite frankly, I have not been to Canton. And I'm going to get out there very soon, I think. Cooperstown, though, we make the trek up there every couple of years. It's just great. Michael, and I maybe coming from England, I think England has more of these kind of throwback little towns than maybe we have here. Maybe there's more than I think of because, we're not traveling to those areas of this country. When you're going away somewhere, you're usually hitting, major markets. But Cooperstown is kind of a blast from the past. Just a very interesting place. And the museum itself is really cool. And go check out Doubleday Field. Go when there's a ball game. They've got a team in the league that Rick was talking about. The Amsterdam Mohawks are trying to defend their title for the umpteenth time in the Perfect Game League, which is a collegiate summer league. I believe Cooperstown, and Rick, you can correct me. I believe Cooperstown has a team in that league, and you might be able to catch a game there. And it's a really cool place to watch a game. Used to go to the Hall of Fame game every year. My dad would take us every year when I was a kid. And that's when they took all the real players. I remember going to an Indian Cubs game, and I got Ernie Banks and Ray Fosse's autograph and somebody else on the Cubs. Might have been Milt Pappas or Kenny Holtzman. I don't remember now. I don't have many more. Wish I did. But just, it was fun. The Hall of Fame game at one time was, almost played for real. And now they don't play it anymore. Good morning, Jeremy. Mr. Neil Biter out there in Detroit. What's up with the Tigers, dude? Brian, from National Streaming Sports, who was running our roundtable show this morning at 8 a.m., was talking about, this. Listen, you're going to win that division because nobody else in the division is any good. The Indians are terrible. Yes, I did say Indians. By the way, that's a topic we're going to get into at one point here in the show because I like the fact that, we had a discussion here, either here or maybe it was on the Jack and Keith weekend playbook on a Monday or a Friday about, well, the president, number one, is pushing for the Redskins name, and he mentioned the Indians at the same time. If they really want their funding for a new stadium, which I don't know why they need one. Didn't they just build a stadium like 10 years ago? But put that aside. I'm not an American Indian. I'm not a Native American. Actually, I was born here, so I think I am. But the indigenous people, a lot of them are behind getting these names back. The family of the guy who is the model for the logo for the Redskins wants the name back. And it's guilty freaking white people who say, oh, we have to stop offending this group of people. We have to stop offending this group of people. And we have to take care of these people for all the things that were done to them 250 years ago. I didn't do anything to those people. Sorry, it's my little. No, I have For the Love of the Game on my list, actually. I do identify with the end of his career. That's one. It's in my top 10. That's one that moves around. They all kind of move around, right? It's kind of a recency bias. If I've watched a couple of them recently, so if I said I didn't like the movie, I misspoke. So I apologize, but that is definitely one of my favorite baseball movies. So yes, as a guy, I did play late and a lot, and I still, at 65 years old, wish I could go out there and play tomorrow. My body won't let me, but I'd like to. My mind is willing. The body just won't go along. So I'd love to do that. The glove's still in my car. I got the glove out yesterday, threw for a few minutes. Arm feels pretty good today. No team for the last few years in Cooperstown. Fun road trip with the Mohawks. Oh, no team, really? That's too bad. It was really a cool stadium, too. Somebody's playing out there. I think they're playing, I don't know, maybe Legion or Babe Ruth games out there. They've got a wonderful, Michael and others, they got a wonderful Little League facility where, and I say Little League, but there's, I think, all different age groups. Every weekend, or every week, I don't think it's just weekends, but every week through the summer, they've got all these tournaments that they play. I've known people, our company's spread out all over the country, and I feel like half of them have come here, at least the U.S. ones, have come here at some point or another with their kids to play baseball. And they've got, I want to say four or six diamonds, and they play these huge tournaments all summer long. And so the place is all booked up. They may be done up there now with the Hall of Fame weekend, but it's a tough weekend to go up there. I have not been to Hall of Fame inductions, quite frankly, since I want to say Catfish Hunter is the last time I went up. Been a few times, but I don't find that all that enjoyable. That's something I think I'd rather just watch on TV. Cedric Mullins hits his 100th career home run for the Orioles. Mullins has, had an up and down career. JB's probably not with us. He's a big Orioles fan, but Mullins looked like he was going to be a star here 3 or 4 years ago, and he just never. He went backwards, at some point. There's a good question. The prettiest ballpark presently, I saw a list saying PNC is not very nice. I'm not a big fan of Citi Field, quite frankly. Not sure why. It could be a Met thing. It could be because of the Mets. PNC Park is beautiful, but look I'm old school. Here's what I'm going to tell you. As much as I hate the Red Sox, to me, and I'm not saying it's a great place to watch a game because there's a lot of obstructed views and whatnot, but walking into Fenway Park, it was like walking into the old Yankee Stadium. And Bill O'Neill, I know you can probably understand what I'm saying. When you walk into that old Yankee Stadium, I mean, you're walking through the catacombs. It's dark and it's dreary and the place is disgusting, quite frankly, in the old Yankee Stadium. But then you'd walk out to the sunshine and see this beautiful cathedral baseball. That was the ultimate for me. Of the stadiums that are left today, Fenway, beautiful ballpark. You feel you can reach out and touch that wall. They say it's 315 feet from home plate. I believe it's 36 feet high. That sounds wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's 36 feet high. I guess that could be right. But there's a lot of arguments that it's a little closer to home plate than 315. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful ballpark. Of the newer stadiums, PNC Park is beautiful. The Rogers Center, I'm thinking of places I've been. Olympic Stadium was a god-awful place to watch baseball. I want to get to Wrigley. I like old school. New Yankee Stadium's a beautiful stadium. I don't have the same feel when I go there that I had before it was built. Yeah, I know. They got an over 50 baseball league up here, too. Bob Noto from Amsterdam played in it for a long time. I don't know if Bob's with us this morning or not, but I know he's not playing anymore. And Bob, we hope you're doing well. I know you had a situation recently, too. And I have a happy birthday to Bob Noto. I think it was yesterday. I just can't. You know what? Here's the thing. I could still throw the ball. I could still catch the ball. I could play first. I mean, I played third base. I started out as shortstop in my career in high school and college. I moved to third base later on as we had a semi-pro team that we traveled around all New York and played double headers every Saturday and Sundays up in Watertown, all over the freaking state. From Amsterdam to St. Johnsville to Watertown, all over the place. Little Falls. I moved to third base, and then as my career started to end, and we had a better third baseman than me, because I was getting old, I moved to first base. Natural progression around the infield, right? But I can't run. I got to lose some weight, number one, which playing softball would help, I'm sure. But I suffer with rheumatoid arthritis as well, so it's very hard on my joints. I'm probably looking at 2 hip replacements in the next 10 years, probably. But I would love to do it, Bill. You still play ball? And here's the other thing. I can throw the ball. I catch the ball. I could probably play first base easily. It's run. I can still hit the ball. I go to the cages, not hitting softballs, but baseballs. And, I don't know what are they throwing, 60, maybe 65, the cages I used to go to down in East Greenbush. You might know the Sunplex. I can't remember the name of the place, Bill. 9 and 20. And there's another place up in Latham I used to go to. I'd go up there during work, pop up. I'd either go driving range up to, can't remember that place off of Route 7, or to the batting cages a lot of times in the summertime. And I still go now. My wife and I think I stopped. I haven't gone this year. Last year I went twice. And after a few misses, I can still make some pretty good contact and hit line drives. And I'll even fool around left-handed a little bit now and again and put the bat on the ball pretty good. And I still enjoy myself. Then I get the juices going. And I say, I can go do this. But I'm going to hurt myself. PNC's nice. Dodger Stadium, driving up on Vin Scully Highway. I would think Dodger Stadium out there in Chavez Ravine is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, O'Malley's got that for a song back in the 50s. Great place. Beautiful place. Too bad the fans don't like stick around for the end of the games. I'll never forget. People, we talk about, and I think we just talked about it recently, or maybe it was on Facebook, one of the baseball groups I was in, talked about most memorable home run they've ever seen. For me, it was Kirk Gibson. His only at bat in the 88 World Series, and I said he should have been the MVP because he hits this big home run that changed momentum, and the Dodgers swept the series. I think they swept the series. Maybe they lost the game. I think they got swept. Or they swept the A's, who were on paper were so much better. But he changed the whole momentum. And that at bat, the which, by the way, couldn't happen today because of the pitch clock. Yeah, just take all the drama out of an at bat like that. Brilliant, Rob Manfred. But again, the thing that really struck me that people don't ever talk about, the things that people don't talk about is when they hits the home run, you see all the cars leaving the stadium. They leave in the seventh inning, winning, losing. Cal Raleigh, I think I mentioned that. Maybe I missed that at the top. First player to 40 home runs this year. Slowed down a little bit here in the second half, but there's still a lot of baseball to play. What do you got? What do we got? Like 50 games left? I can't do math. I'm going to do math now, right? 100. So we got 57 games left, roughly 58 games, depending on the team. Is he going to hit 60? It's 20 and 58 games. He probably hit 20 in his first 58, so it's possible. Cal Raleigh's a big story of this season, and he's become a superstar overnight. He's really good defensive catcher as well. I'm not sure what his contract situation is, but I hope they have him locked up in Seattle for a while. They have runners at the plate if needed. Pinch runners when you get on if needed. Guys in here in 80s. Right. That's sweet. But check that. I might have to check that out this next summer, maybe. Not this summer. It's too late. Over here in the UK, we have walking football, soccer. Sorry. Thank you for explaining that to me. I would have been confused, Michael. For all the people, I don't know if I want to be called older. Well, you didn't say old, so thank you. I guess I am older. I have to accept the fact that I'm older, right? But I like to tell people I'm about to go on a 35-year vacation. God willing. Keeping people fit and helping older players. That's right. That's nice. Very nice. I do golf. I don't fish. I don't get the point of fishing, man. So you play softball? No baseball? I did play softball. By the way, playing both at the same time is difficult. For a number of years before I stopped playing, in my late 30s, I played both fast pitch softball and baseball, and it's very hard going back and forth. But so you're playing 4 days of softball in Florida. I golf though. My plan is golf. I'm a huge fan of golf. Although I have trouble there today as well because I can't get, I mean, if I play a lot, I still play fairly well. But, I play twice a year and I expect to play like I played when I played 5 times a week. And you can't expect that, right? And I'm also, I have trouble, I guess, adjusting to the fact I'm 65 years old and I think I should still be able to turn and drive through the ball the way I used to. The lower body just doesn't work the same way anymore. That sounded bad, probably. But fantasy baseball still has Judge day to day when he's obviously out. Well, if they haven't put him on, I don't know if they officially put him on the IL or not. They said he was being put on the IL. He's headed to the IL. So sometime today, Rick, you're like, I don't know if do you have him in the fantasy league? If you do, then he'll be IL'd at some point. DL'd, sorry, broke my own freaking rule. I will not say injured list. I have no problem with the thing it was called for 40 years, 45 years, the disabled list. I know I have this, Dana and I have this little disagreement. I don't feel like I'm offending anybody by saying disabled list. They can't play. So you'll see him go on today. And by the way, I'm going to tell you again, this is a bigger deal than people think. I mean, they're like, 10 days. Me too. I mean, if there was a tear, he'd be out for the year. And again, I don't necessarily always trust the Yankees in these reports. So, once some swelling goes down and stuff, I want to see what they say a week from now or at 10-day mark when he's supposedly ready to come back. But let's just assume they're giving us the straight scoop and he's out 10 days and he come back, he's going to DH. I wouldn't be shocked if he DH the remainder of the year or most of it. Most, if not all. And the Yankees will be a measurably worse team with Judge not in the outfield. As I said, the only guy in my mind, I mean, Grisham's okay. Grisham's way overrated out there. Bellinger can play all 3 positions competently. I'm okay there. But he can only, as I said, he can only play one of them at a time. He can't play all 3. Dominguez is improving, but still it can be an adventure sometimes. So if they don't go trade for an outfielder, and Rosario can play a little, who they picked up from the Nationals, he might be able to play a little outfield. Jazz might end up back. I mean, here's the thing. People say, well, put Jazz back in center field and move Bellinger to right. Well, that's great, but Jazz is a really good second baseman. What am I doing there? We're putting Stanton in the outfield? Jack Hirsch this morning on the National Streaming Sports Roundtable, was telling me, oh, Stanton was a good defensive player at one time. Well, he's not anymore. Have you seen him run the bases? Imagine him in the outfield. So, number one, he's going to weaken your defense tremendous. Well, look at anybody but Judge out there, depending on who they might bring in here in a trade, is going to be markedly worse than Judge in right field. Look how deficient. I know they went to the World Series, Jack. But that outfield defense was not as good as it could be with Judge in center, where he's just okay, and Soto in right, who's a liability. So now we're going to end up with even a worse situation of Judge not out there at all. And the possibility of Stanton playing in the outfield. So even if he doesn't embarrass himself and kill the team, he's going to get hurt. I think you're going to see an outfielder come in here in the next 5 days. So anyway, Rick, to your question, you should see him. They can't list him as day-to-day, or they can't list him as out or on the disabled list until he's officially on it, which he has not been placed yet. He's headed to the IL, as I'm looking at it right this second. I would think before, because they don't want to play a man short. My guess is that you will see that happen today. He'll be put on the IL and somebody else will take his roster spot. So good stuff. What else, guys? We talked about. Do we think the Blue Jays are for real, by the way? I love the way they play. As I said earlier to Chris, I love the way the Blue Jays play baseball. Put the ball on the bat, put pressure on the defense. That's the difference between the Blue Jays and the Yankees specifically and a lot of other teams in baseball. They don't give away as many outs by striking out. They strike out 5-6 times a game, not 10, 12, 14. You don't think that matters? Taking, let's say, 7 or 8 at bats and putting in place for something to happen, good to happen for them, bad for the other team. Because, I mean, you could get, anything could happen. You could get a base hit, hit a ball hard, and the player, the defense chokes, makes an error, throw balls away. You saw it in the Yankee series with the Blue Jays, the last series. They continuously put the ball in play, and Volpe and other guys just had, brain freezes. That's where a guy like DJ was so valuable to this team because of his baseball instincts and intellect. He couldn't play anymore because his skills had diminished to the point where he just couldn't play. But he's a guy who knew what to do with the baseball when he got it. Had, for a long time, a great approach at the plate. Not the last few years. The Yankees don't do enough of that. I'm no Blue Jay fan. I like the way they play the game. They play good defense. They seem to be fundamentally strong. As I said, they put the ball in play and put pressure on the defense. They move guys. They move base runners around and push pressure on the defense. It's called baseball. Try it. Yes, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Michael, I would suggest go back and watch, and we can talk a little about Hulk Hogan here this morning. I don't have a problem with that. It's a little bit of a quiet, other than Judge and a few other stories in baseball. No thoughts on Krutz, by the way, setting a record? This game's been played 150 years, and nobody's ever had 4 home runs, 6 runs scored, 6 for 6 in the game, and 8 RBIs. Nobody ever in the history of the game. Plus, he's only the 20th player to hit 4 home runs. And the first rookie. That's a pretty big story. And Jack tried to poo-poo it this morning. Jack, if you're out there, you can defend yourself. I'm probably going to make him defend himself tomorrow morning. Because it's a big deal. I don't know how I got on there from Hulk Hogan. How did I get there? Oh, I was talking about big stories. So we can talk a little about Hulk Hogan if you like. I do suggest you go back and watch Friday's Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook, because we talked for probably 35 minutes about Hulk Hogan and wrestling in general. I know nothing about wrestling today. But back in my 20s, early 30s, Bill and Rick will know the place I'm talking about, the Glens Falls Civic Center. Used to have wrestling, it felt like once a month. And we'd go up there and see, we never saw Hogan, but we'd see some other great wrestlers. If you remember, you guys locally, Mason and Sheehan from 106 they were managing a masked wrestler who ended up being Jeff Blatnick, a former Olympic wrestling gold medalist from Duanesburg. Rest in peace, Jeff Blatnick. Really good guy. But it was just a lot of fun. We go to the dugout, and some of the wrestlers would come in here, and Rick will know who I'm talking about, but his brother Bob would go with us. And Rick, I don't remember whether you attended any of those trips that I was part of or not, but we tried to go Johnny Doviak into, taking on Jake the Snake in the dugout one night. He didn't, fortunately, for all of us, probably. But Hulk Hogan, look at the guy had some issues outside of the ring, obviously, and a lot of these guys do because of the wrestling business, even back in Hulk Hogan's day, was a very sordid thing. They didn't talk about steroids then, but they were obviously doing them. A lot of them have died young because of it, and other factors. But Hulk Hogan wasn't just a wrestler. He brought wrestling into the mainstream. I know wrestling was big in the 50s, right? Your grandfathers probably watched it. My grandfather probably watched it. It was on TV like every week. I mean, prime time. I watched it on Sunday mornings. We'd go to my dad's when he'd pick us up. My mom and dad were divorced, and or Sunday morning when we got up, if we were staying with him all weekend, and we watched roller derby and wrestling and Chief Jay Strongbow and Tony Gurria and Bobo Brazil, all these guys. But Hulk Hogan really brought it into the mainstream. He became a cultural phenomenon. And it was good. It was good fun. It seemed like good, clean fun too, right? We know I'm not going to call it a sport. I guess I can call it a sport because you have to be athletic to do the things they did. But Hulk was Tony Boulea, right? Is his real name? If I'm close. Drew's not here to correct me. He was just magnetism. Kids loved him. It was all vitamins and milk. No, obviously it wasn't, but I love some of those. The WrestleManias, he was in the first, I don't know, 7, 8, 9. Those were big deals back then. Good one. Hacksaw Jim Duggan from Glens Falls carried a 2x4 in the ring with him, right? Bill? We'd see him up there in Glens Falls a lot. Trying to think of some of the guys we saw. We said Jimmy Snuka quite a few times up there. Jake the Snake. By the way, there's a couple of good documentaries out there if you can find them. There's an ex-wrestler, and I cannot remember his name. Maybe one of you guys who follow wrestling more than I do today, who's trying to work with some of these ex-wrestlers who have drug problems and things like that. It's a great documentary, and I wish I knew the name of it. But there's a great documentary out there about Jake the Snake and this guy and his team working with Jake to try to get him clean. And I think he was being inducted maybe into the Wrestling Hall of Fame or something. But it follows his travails, and they have some success. There's another one about the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I don't remember the name of that one either. Might have been $1 Million Man. I think it's on Netflix or Prime, which is pretty good. And I would really, really recommend everybody watch the Mickey Rourke movie, The Wrestler, which is really, really good. And I think might capture some of the seamier sides of wrestling. Balea. Thank you, Bill Pulver. Good morning. Good to have you with us. I think Billy should get in the fantasy football league. Who disagrees with me? Billy Pulver. We have one spot left, right, guys? We have 15 teams in. Almost all guys who participate in this show, Rick. So the concerns about guys who are not going to be active, I think, should be put aside, assuming we don't take the wrong person to the 16 spot. That's why I don't want to just put it out there and post it, because we did that a couple years ago, and I don't know that the guy ever played. Then he stayed in still last year and probably never drafted. But Billy O'Neill, you're welcome. Bill Pulver, you're certainly welcome. We only got one more spot, though, because we can't go past 16. That's just too many. I'm glad we got a good 16, though. But good morning, Billy. So check out some of those wrestling. Listen, I had a blast for years watching wrestling. Where'd my banner go? Did I never put my banner up today? Oh, that's not it. There, I never put my banner up today, I don't think. What do we got? 10:03? So we could, and by the way, the Wrestling Hall of Fame is right here in Amsterdam and in Schenectady for quite a few years. I think it's out in Wichita or someplace now. It's moved, but it was a big deal, and they had some big names in wrestling that came into town for the inductions at different years, for sure. Bruno Sammartino, Chief J Strongbow. Well, I love Strongbow and Grid. They may have fought like in tag team matches together too. Dominic DeNucci, another great name back in the day. I will tell you though, my favorite wrestler of all time is Roddy Piper. I thought he was the absolute best as far as the way he carried himself, the one-liners he would shoot at people, Piper's Pit. I loved the talk show that they used to have when it was still the WWE, and Mean Gene Okerlund and Gorilla Monsoon did a talk show. Mean Gene just passed away, I think, Mean Gene Okerlund, in the last year or so, I think. Some of the great managers like Lou Albano, and who I think I saw, who's the guy who managed the Macho Man? Jimmy? No, not Jimmy. One of Bobby the Brain Heenan, he just passed away, I think, the last couple of years as well. The guy I'm thinking of is, maybe his name is Hart. I don't remember. I think I saw him at this. They did this wherever they were having a big wrestling event the other day. I think he was there, and I cannot remember his name. Oh, who's the other guy? Was a wrestler and became a manager. Ted. I thought I just had it. Silver hair, slick back, walk with a cane. The hell is his name? Dusty Rhodes, another one. Ric Flair, still here. Ernie the Big Cat Ladd quit playing professional football for the world champion, for a team that became the world champions. Sorry, Rick. Became the world champions in 1970. Or 71. Super Bowl. Ernie Ladd quits that team to go wrestle. Miss Elizabeth was part of, I guess she was his manager. That's not who I'm thinking of, though. That's not who I'm thinking of. Dark hair, long dark hair, flashy. God. I'm going to get back. I'll get to your NFL comment in just a second. Michael, I just want to stay on, this for a second. I want to find some of these managers. You're right about Miss Elizabeth, Bill. Pro wrestling. I can't see my keyboard. It's pushed away. Let's see if it can. The good thing is I can type in anything. Google figures out what I'm looking for. There we go. Let's. Please tell me these aren't in alphabetical order, because I'll never find what I'm looking for. Active years. Let's look this way. No, this can't be what I'm looking for, is it? The Grand Wizard. He was one. I don't think this is the list I'm looking for, though, is it? Sonny Lou Albano. It is a list. Where's the guy I'm looking for, though? I'm still not finding him. That's too funny. Buddy Rogers, Bunny Love. Gary Hart. That's not the guy's name, is it? Nah, that's not him. Miss Linda. Come on, he's not here. Oh, Jimmy Hart. That's the guy. Yeah, Bret Hart, Jim Hart, or Jim Neidhart, rather. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I think he passed away recently. Jimmy Hart. I was on the right track. God, Freddie Blassie. That's the other guy's name I was trying to think of. Fred Blassie. He's not on the list here. I don't know why. But Fred Blassie, I remember, too. He was a wrestler, and he turned... Ted DiBiase is the $1 Million Man, and there is, as I said, I think if you go to Prime, and Billy O'Neill's got the same DiBiase. Oh, Ted Blassie. I mean, that's a different guy, as I'm looking at it. But Ted DiBiase is the $1 Million Man, and that's the one that it's a really, really good documentary about him and his life wrestling and after wrestling. Billy might be talking about the same guy. I'm going to go back to your comment in a second, I promise, Michael. Matt's with us out in L.A. Good to have you with us. Bad news. And somehow, as we talked about, Matt is a Yankee fan. Nobody knows how that's happened. Bad news with Judge. We're hoping it's not the worst news, because I'm not trusting the Yankees reporting on this yesterday. Michael says the NFL is apparently looking to find more than 100 players and approximately 24 team employees. I read this article for selling your tickets above face value. The league confirmed Friday. What I don't understand, why are the players putting themselves in this position? You're not making enough money? You got to sell tickets above face value? Super Bowl tickets cost enough at face value, by the way. Leave that to the ticket brokers who are ripping people off. The team employees I probably get looking to supplement their income. It's just silly. Certainly silly. No, you did tell me about Mattingly growing up. I'm not sure. I still can't get my head around. I mean, if you grew up in New York, and I think you told me you grew up in LA, or not LA, but California. But if you grew up in the East, I could understand it. Or even in Indiana, where Mattingly's from. So you did tell me. I mean, I can't imagine who the Dodgers could have had when I was a kid. And I don't know if you were a kid when Mattingly played. I guess maybe. I was 20. Yeah, I was in my 20s when Mattingly played. But I can't imagine saying, "Oh, I like I don't know, Steve Sachs," and I'm going to be. That's a bad comparison, right? Yeah, I should come up with a better player than Sachs. I wonder if has one team ever had guys who had this, I can't throw the ball to first base disease. Two different guys, Steve Sachs and Chuck Knobloch. You remember when, I wish it was Oberman. I remember when Knobloch beamed Keith Oberman's mother behind first base one night. Oh, you are a young guy. God, what I wouldn't pay to be 53. I want to be 53 and still retiring in 31 days. How about that? That ship has sailed. but good stuff. What do you got for us today, Matt? We talked a lot about the Yankees. We talked a lot about, I don't know. We talked about Hulk Hogan just now. We talked a little football. We didn't get into football. What do you guys think? And as a Patriot fan, this whole freaking nonsense between Belichick and Kraft has gotten out of hand. I mean, we all knew when they had the press conference and Belichick stepped away, that it wasn't amicable. Kraft, not even 3 weeks later, kind of let out that, he didn't really leave. I kind of fired him. So that was kind of the first salvo. And then this whole documentary came down that Kraft was really kind of behind. And listen, I love Bob Kraft. Don't get me wrong. But it really put Belichick. And I'm not saying Belichick is a perfect guy. Listen, I didn't even think they hired the right guy until after he won 2 Super Bowls. That's my buddy Mark. Even after one, I wasn't convinced. But they've been taking little pot shots at each other for 2 years now. And most recently, a couple weeks ago, Kraft was interviewed somewhere, and he wanted to remind everybody. He pretty much said it. I would need to remind everybody that I took a huge chance on Bill Belichick, who's a failed coach in Cleveland and never won anything without Bill Parcells. Well, I would argue, by the way, that Bill Parcells has never won anything without Bill Belichick. Just saying. That he took this huge chance. Well, I think Belichick gets a huge bad rap for the whole Cleveland situation. He took a team that was down and terrible, and he got them into the playoffs in the second year, won a playoff game against Bill Parcells, by the way, and the Patriots. And what happened after that was not his fault, because once this team said they were leaving, everything fell apart in Cleveland. He had no chance to win there. Anyway, besides that, somebody was going to hire Bill Belichick. In fact, he had a head coaching job with the Jets. So anyway, Belichick gets wind of this, and Belichick says, well, he can think that if he wants, but I would tell you that I think I'm the one who took the big chance. There were coaches that told me not to go back there because the organization was in disarray. That it had deteriorated in its time since Parcells left, and a guy I loved, Pete Carroll, was there. And that Kraft was not well liked around the league and well respected around the league for the way he ran the organization. Can't these guys just say it took us all to do this? I am so tired of the Kraft, Belichick, Brady, triumvirate. And we had to pick the one that's most important to it. I love Tom Brady. I came to love Bill Belichick. I love Bob Kraft because he brought these things all together. All of them. If I took any one of them away, well, maybe Bob Kraft never wins a Super Bowl if he doesn't have Belichick and Brady. I might be able to eliminate Bob Kraft from this. Then we're down to just Belichick and Brady, which is the argument everybody makes. Brady made Belichick. Did he? I would argue that one without the other, Belichick probably would have found a way to win a Super Bowl or two without Tom Brady. Probably. No guarantee. Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. And again, don't tell me about Tampa because that's later in his career. He's great. He's Tom Brady. And Brady may have won a Super Bowl in New England or two without Bill Belichick. They wouldn't have won 6 in 20 years. I will tell you that. You can argue with me all you want. I watched this up close. And the thing that people forget and they don't want to factor into this argument, and they're 100% wrong, is the fact Tom Brady may not even become Tom Brady without Bill Belichick and the coaching staff of the New England Patriots. So you can discount the fact that he went on 20 years later and won with Tampa Bay, because that Tom Brady may never have existed without being drafted by the Patriots. By the way, he may not have been drafted at all if the Patriots didn't draft him. And maybe Tom Brady makes it into the league and becomes a player. Is he winning 6 Super Bowls somewhere else because he's Tom Brady? Now, I don't think, he's a totally a system quarterback either. So I'm not berating either one of these guys. I'm saying they needed each other. The people who put this all on Brady, they discount the fact that he may never become the player he became without Belichick and the Patriot organization, which, by the way, the culture of which was built by Bill Belichick. Because the culture wasn't great there when Belichick got there, no matter what. Sad they have to fight after all those. Yes, isn't it, Matt? We can't just enjoy the 6, by the way, an unprecedented run. Really 2 separate dynasties when you think about it, but put them all together. Who's ever had a 20-year run like the Patriots have had? 6 championships, 14 AFC championship games in 20 years. The Chiefs and the Mahomes have a ways to go. Yeah, but I know we got all this help for the referees too, so please bring that up again, please. This is why I have to defend the Chiefs now, because nobody can be dominant without help from the referees. They can't just be good at what they do. I am so tired. I get so tired, and it's coming. I almost hope the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. People are again. I will tell you again for the 4th year in a row, the Chiefs will be better than you think they will be. And then when they start winning, you're going to start saying, "Wow, the referees." Come on. If your team's getting beat by referees, and your team's not very good or good enough. So I almost hope they don't win, so I don't have to listen to that nonsense for 5 months again. Sorry, I'm a little worked up there. Remember the cookie cutter concrete donut stadiums? Oh, yes. Three River Stadium, Riverfront Stadium, Busch Stadium. Well, they wanted to make them, dual stadiums, right? So that's one of the reasons they built them the way they built them, so you could play baseball and football in the same stadium. Those concrete donut stadiums, it's a great one because it was basically, Veteran Stadium was one of the worst in the league. It was like basically concrete with, outdoor AstroTurf, the same stuff you buy for your backyard. Not quite, but a little higher quality. But that's all put over concrete. Really great for people's knees, and the seams would come up. In baseball, the ball bounced, 50 feet in the air. Don't know much about Ahmed. Hope he can. I like Ahmed Rosario. He's having a pretty good year this year. He's pretty versatile. He's played mostly second base and third base with the Indians after he got traded from the Mets to the Indians. He had a couple good years with the Mets. He played some outfield in Cleveland. He's not going to hit a bunch of home runs, but he's going to put the ball in play. He's going to play competent defense. As I said earlier in the show, I think you may see him a little bit in the outfield mixed in with some other combinations. I do think you'll see him potentially platoon, at least somewhat, with McMahon at third base. So again, a cheap addition that I think will help this team. Same thing with McMahon. Matt, I've said now for a week, I came to the conclusion this team is not good enough to go all in and risk the future by trading prospects for guys like Suarez and Seth Lugo. If I get Seth Lugo cheap, I'll get it. I'm trying to think of some of the higher quality players that are going to be available here. There's another quality pitchers. Charlie Morton. I'd love to bring Charlie Morton in here, and you should be able to get him cheap. He's 40 plus years old. He started the season horribly, but he's been one of the better pitchers in the American League for the last 2 months. And he's got playoff experience. So I'm not saying this team can't get in the playoffs. they're a game and a half from falling out of the wild card. And there's a lot of baseball to play. Jack, who thinks there are no big games in July. That series last week against the Blue Jays was a huge series. And if you don't think it was huge, go back and watch Tuesday night's game when they're up 4-1 and they're looking at blowing this game. And Boone is out there managing like it's the game 7 of the World Series because he's got Weaver extended 30-plus pitches. He throws Williams out there with the game tied for the 4th time in 5 games. Nobody does that anymore. And I'm okay. There had to be a sense of urgency to win that game. It's not just the standings and where you are. You need to show you can beat these teams because when you see them in a postseason, and I know, and Jack brought this up, I know there's exceptions where such and such team got, won 15 out of 16 games or 14 out of 16 games against somebody in the regular season and then beat them got beat in the playoffs by the team that they dominated. That's not the norm, though. This was a huge game, Matt. And these 2 moves. So again, I don't think this team should be going all in to win this year. Yes, bring in a couple of bargain pieces like Rosario, like McMahon, and we're going to find a pitcher somewhere guaranteed. Hopefully it's somebody like Zach Gallen. I know he's not having a great year, but I don't want to give up much. And I'm okay if I bring up a guy whose contract's expiring. I think they have. McMahon might have some controllability, by the way. But then play it out. Let the kid pitchers keep pitching. Sheetler, Warren, they pitched reasonable. Warren pitched well enough to win that game Friday night. The bullpen imploded. Sheetler's pitched well. Let it fall where it falls. If they're good enough with this team the way it is, go do it. Without Bledsoe going down. Yeah, Tom Brady may languish and by the way, just to be fair about the Bledsoe thing, I joke a lot about Mo Lewis being the MVP of that. We got to go in 5 minutes. Holy shit. Mo Lewis being the MVP of that first Super Bowl team because he knocked Bledsoe out. You go back and you read, I can't remember which book it was. It was the most recent book I read about the Patriots, and it might have been by Ian O'Connor, actually, who knows his stuff. In camp that year, Belichick and his staff knew that Brady was their best quarterback. But they couldn't play him because Bledsoe had just signed the richest contract in the history of professional football. And you couldn't bench him. So Mo Lewis takes him out. Bledsoe gets hurt. Bledsoe's out, whatever he was out, 10 weeks. Expected his job back. Wasn't happy about it, but didn't make a stink, by the way. He made a stink a little bit, but not over the top. And he helped Tom Brady immensely. And was a huge part of them getting to the Super Bowl when Brady got hurt against Pittsburgh. And Bledsoe played the second half and played very, very well. Maybe we won't get out of here at 10:30. Brady and Belichick is like the argument of the chicken and the egg, which came first. Agreed, Michael. I mean, it gets to be nonsense. They needed each other. It's mostly non-Patriot fans that have this conversation, by the way. You get a few numbskulls who think, they would have won 6 with Brady no matter who was coaching the team. That is BS to the highest degree. And these one of the most overrated the Astros sign stealing. One of the most overrated scandals in the history of professional sports. Every quarterback at that time, in fact, Rodgers talked about it, Eli Manning talked about it, that they manipulated the footballs. I think it was Rodgers wanted too much. He wanted it over the recommended PSI. So again, And if the footballs are such a big deal, why were the teams in control of them and not the referees? And I'm pretty sure the game that this all blew up in, the Colts playoff game where they beat them 41-7 or some freaking thing, they ran for like 380 freaking yards. Stupid. Well, the Swifties are a different story. I won't have to. I've gotten so I don't give a crap about that anymore either. You know, I made a big deal about this when it first started happening. But now, like last year, people would still comment about the whole Taylor Swift thing, and they'd be like, it looks like we're going to go a few minutes long today, too, by the way. Not too long, but, you know, even if they flash to her now during a game, it's probably like 10 seconds of the entire game you see a shot of Taylor Swift. So who cares? I made a big deal about this, and probably too big a deal about this at the game. I think Gallen would be good. Gallen's not pitching well, Paul, but change of scenery could help him. He's pitching for a contract, so coming to New York, helping them into the playoffs and pitching well would certainly help his negotiations coming off a bad year. Kansas had the first turf field I played on in 1972. They had turf in 1972. I remember going up to a game I didn't play. I was watching in 1978. It was a rainstorm, and I could have swore they had a grass. Maybe they took it out. For sure. Billy was here. He popped in and popped out. Well, I'm sure once we get to football season, Billy will piss me off enough to put himself in play for the Itch Award. We'll explain the Itch Award to you all, you newbies, at some point soon. Because we're past the halfway point of the year, and I don't think I have a true front runner this year. And I haven't even got a trophy to last year's winner, Rick Sherlock. You know, I had a cup. I had a cup in the office that I used to give to the high performer of the year. We had this really fancy cup. I should have taken it and repurposed it and given it to you, Rick. But I tossed it in the garbage with everything else in my office. Big question, maybe too long to answer. Not feasible at the moment. Early front runners for playoffs in the AFC and NFC. We'll probably get into this. We'll get into this a lot in the coming weeks. I'll be doing my predictions. I might even do a one-off show. Billy's just listening. Front runners in the AFC. I'll give you real quick. We're going to dive into this really deeper, but I'll give you a quick answer. In the AFC, front runners for me are the Bills. Again, don't write off the Chiefs. I think the Texans will rebound, and then probably I think the Bengals, again, if they play any kind of defense, will be great. And maybe the Ravens. In the National Football Conference, the Eagles, the defending champions, the team formerly known as the Redskins, are going to be really tough. I think the whole NFC North will be tough. I think all four of those teams could make the playoffs, quite frankly. The NFC South will be, again, historically weak. And I don't think the West is going to be that great either, quite frankly. I think the 49ers finished last there. We'll talk more about it. And my sleeper picks and such. We'll dive into that stuff, Michael, I promise you. And Billy, don't just listen, my friend. Speak up. Speak your mind. It was good seeing you. Alicia popped in last week. I think you might have been here. It was good to chat with her. Hope she's doing well over there in the UK. She's over there somewhere near Michael Gott, probably. Anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up with that. Another great Sunday morning. I appreciate it. A little rainy here. Hopefully it's nicer where you are. Bill O'Neill, great to have you on. I'll think about this old Clifton Park softball thing next summer, maybe. Get myself in a little better shape. Work stress has turned me into a freaking blob. But that's going away in 31 days. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow morning with the Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook. We'll talk about all the some of these stories we talked about today. We'll talk some boxing with Jack. I don't think we'll get into Hulk Hogan as we spent 35 minutes on him on Friday, but I appreciate everything you guys do. Appreciate you coming in, and we'll see you next week at 8:30 on Sunday as well. And soon we'll return with the college football huddle. See you guys. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Roku channel.